Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for the Scrap Room to share with you this particular layout that I created with the Jillibean Soup You Make Miso Happy collection that is in the January 2019 the Scrap Room kits. So along with the embellishment add-on kit come these thickers, and they are white, and they are there for you to be able to, and they're not thickers, I apologize, they're because they're Jillibean brand, but they are there for you. They're foam stickers, and they're there for you to color if you would like, or leave white as you would like. And so what you saw me doing earlier was I had some yellow shimmers, and I just sprayed them yellow, the word hello, in order to match my title. Now I am using some watercolor cardstock, and I have created my own digital cut files that are flowers that coordinate with the flowers that are found in this particular pattern, and I want to color them colors that coordinate with the colors found in the pattern papers and the die cuts. So I am using some Vicki Boutin watercolors. And some of the colors are either really bright or the wrong hue, and so what I have to do is I have to water them down a little bit. And that's the whole point of liquid watercolor, is to add water to them to get the hue that it is that you're looking for. So the yellow was pretty easy. I just added water till I found the consistency and the color that worked. And then you'll see in the next color, in the pink, that the straight pink is literally a hot pink. And that is way, 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 way more hot pink than what I want. The pink in this collection has a little bit of a blue hue to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of purple. I could have added blue, but what I like about the purple is that it has pink in it as well. And so it doesn't stray too far from the actual pink hue that it is that I'm looking for. And I'm just testing these on scrap watercolor paper that you can see there, and see how that's still a little bit brighter than what I want it to be. So I'm going to add a little more color to this, and this is where I'm going to add that purple to get that more subtle sort of blue hue into that pink there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the turquoise, but I'm going to fast forward. Actually, I'm going to omit that part of the video because it's incredibly time consuming. But my point in showing you all of this in the video is to show you that sometimes you don't want to use the color straight out of the bottle or the tube, as the case may be, and you may want to add color and play with the color to find the colors that it is that you're looking for. So that is going to be the pink one, and then I'm going to do that blue there. So to add a little bit of variation to the hues of this, I am going to take these paint daubers and I'm going to just go around the edges. I will do the same thing with the pink and the yellow. Now, one of these cut files has sewing holes sort of pre-cut into it, and the idea of that, and again, it's to add more texture to the layout, and so that is to add dimension to the flowers. And so I'm using a similar color thread, and I'm just going to thread it through, and what you'll find if you download these files, it's a free file that you can download, is that some of the holes at the bottom, you're going to go through twice, and that's just to give you that center circle that is going to be in that flower there. So there are, I believe there's 4 different flowers, 2 of the same of each flower, only one has the threading holes for you there. So now that we've finished that mixed media part of the layout, it is time to construct the layout. So these 2 pictures are not your typical size picture. I actually have printed them, I believe they are 5 by 3 each picture, and the picture on the left hand side is the Chihuly at the Biltmore. And then the picture on the right-hand side is myself, my daughter, and my son standing in front of that pond at Biltmore. And thus the title of the layout becomes Hello, Biltmore. So what I'm doing here is with your kit, you are going to get your own variation of the washi packet, and so I've cut the washi and I've cut it asymmetrically in order to add some splashes of color to that header up there. Now what I'm doing is adding some green, and what you'll see right now as I add that green there is it is very bold and it stands out and it needs something to soften it, but my plan is to do that later, kind of after I've constructed the layout and after I've seen what it is that I have left. So I have a little shelf of that extra yellow down the bottom there, and on that shelf I'm going to place these flowers. Two of them, or these succulents really, and flowers. Two of them are from the die cut mix that come with the collection, and the other one is fussy cut out of the pattern paper that you see sitting there on the left hand side. And then again, to tie in the top of the layout to the bottom of the layout, I'm going to use some of that hot pink, and then I'm going to use a little bit more washi, and this is washi that has a saying. It says heart this moment, and the reason that I'm using that particular piece of strip of washi there is because the font is in black and the photos have a lot of black in them and there's a lot of weight to that, and so I wanted that little splash of black down the bottom of the layout to add some weight to the bottom of the layout. Now I'm going to add the flowers and some foliage. So I used a digital die from the Silhouette store that is the green leaves, the fern leaves, and then I fussy cut some of the green sort of more petal-shaped leaves out of one of the papers that come in the collection, and I'm going to just arrange them to the top right and then the bottom left of the photo, so that the visual triangle that you're going to create with this particular layout is going to go from the hot pink flower through the photos to that bright yellow hello to that bluey teal flower, down to the shelf and the flowers or the succulents on the bottom right, and then back up to the pink. And the journaling will be nestled in between there, so you see all parts of the layout and there's equal weight through the layout. So while that's the visual triangle, the direction of this layout is actually probably more of an asymmetrical diagonal, in that you kind of are going to start on that top left-hand side of the layout, move your way down to that bottom right-hand side. Is kind of, there's a diagonal movement there, but within that diagonal movement is that visual triangle there. So I've just used a few of the acrylic hearts you can see that I scattered in there, and I used a few more of the washi pieces. You can see that I've got that butterfly die cut that's going to go in there, and a lot of the flowers, you see that blue flower has that little yellow flower, and now I want something to center into the middle of the pink and the yellow flower there. So there's the bulk of the layout. Now it's time to literally just adhere that down. Just using some adhesive to do that. I don't fully adhere things down, and part of the reason that I don't fully adhere things down, especially when it comes to the flowers and the greenery that's around it, is I like the movement on my layouts, and so when you do that, you do need to be careful putting them into page protectors. I don't actually end up putting the layout together the way that it looks there, because I end up using that blue flower in the center of the yellow. And the reason that I do that is because to add to that visual triangle, I'm going to use repetitions of 3 by using the blue center flower in the yellow, over to the blue flower on the left, down to the blue flower on the right. So you can kind of see that trio that ties together with that visual triangle there. So I mentioned earlier, this is a Scraproom kit. This is one of the 4 flavors of the month. This is the Jillibean Soup, You Make Miso Happy. There are 3 different other kits that come with this kit. And you will also, if you are a subscriber, get a tasting of coffee that comes with your collection. Then, hence the flavors of the month name of the kit. The coffee is actually really, really good. And it makes your box smell really, really good when your box arrives each month. So you do have to be careful pulling this foam off of the backing, especially if you do use some mixed media on it, because it kind of changes the consistency of it. So what I did and what I recommend you do when you apply this is just kind of peel off the first maybe ½ inch or so, stick that down, and then kind of peel it back in order to not stretch out the words of the foam letters there. So trying to get these acrylics in. They are a really, really hot pink, and I didn't really use anything that's that bright, so I'm using them sparingly. And this is where I add the other washi. The washi is literally washi, so it is rectangular or square in shape and not cut to the shape of the particular thing that you're using. So you do see that, but because it's mostly white, a white background behind the washi, it's not quite so obvious. So there you saw me stick that yellow die cut up there, and that says keep smiling. I just like the way that the yellow breaks up that green and kind of ties that yellow back into the yellow that's in that yellow header there. So what I'm doing here is just finishing up the title. I'm going to put these stickers, and they are also from Jillibean, but they are from an earlier collection. These are from my stash from another Scraproom kit, and I'm just going to put Biltmore, and I'm centering that underneath hello. Actually, I'm offsetting it a little bit so that you kind of it moves with that diagonal and that diagonal pattern in the layout there. So that I'm going to journal off camera, and that, my friends, is my Scraproom layout for January. So I hope you are encouraged to give some mixed media a try and find ways of incorporating that into your layouts. I hope you're doing well and that 2019 is off to a great start. Thanks for joining me today. Enjoy the close-ups and take care.